Find us on Facebook, email us at head2headpinball@gmail.com or go to our website at head2headpinball.com.
Welcome everybody to the Head2Head Pinball podcast. This is episode 39 and my name's Martin and with me...
It's Ryan C.
Hello Ryan.
How you going, Marty?
I'm good, and you?
Yeah, mate. We got a really interesting guest on today. Let's just go back and forth on the fact that did you know that this person is ranked number 2 in the IFPA in New Zealand?
No, I didn't. Did you know that they're ranked number 5 in the IFPA women's players?
Oh, wow. As a woman, that's 2 weeks in a row. Did you know that she was the youngest person ever to play in an IFPA World Champs at 12 years old?
No, I didn't. Did you know that this person drove Route 66 in a hearse?
That's amazing, Marty. Did you know this person just completed high school at 16 years and 2 weeks? Isn't that amazing, Marty?
I think that is amazing. But did you know that they were named valedictorian of the AGC Senior College?
Holy shit, I came last in my high school. That's amazing. Did you know that they're about to start university and they're going to do a double degree?
I did not know that. But did you know that this person started Bells and Chimes in New Zealand and it's the first chapter outside of the USA?
Oh my gosh. You know, she's only entered 2 women's championships and she's won both of them, TPF 2017 and Indus 2018. Isn't that amazing? That
is amazing. And did you know that, says here she has an awesome dad?
Nah, that's not true. The lamest intro ever. It's Danny Peck. How you going, Danny?
Hi, I'm great, guys. That was the best intro ever. What are you guys talking about?
It's just a couple of random facts that we just happened to pick up. You know, we just know a lot about you.
Such research. I love it.
It definitely wasn't sent in by your dad.
Oh, definitely not, you know. Especially that the dad's the best thing ever, you know.
Yeah,
definitely not that.
A bit subtle, sure. That one. So, look, all those things are true. And you are obviously very well known and you are a very good pinball player. And I've actually met you a number of times and most of them have been overseas. So you do get to travel around. How's that for you?
Oh, it's fabulous. I love travelling around and meeting all the new people and, you know, getting to know everyone, see places. It's really cool.
Now, on your travels, do you just kind of go to the pinball places or do you do regular touristy stuff?
I mean, people seem to think that we just do pinball stuff, but no, we do heaps of stuff. Like, we go see, you know, touristy sites and we go to places, you know. I mean, pinball's a great thing to do while we're away, but we also like to do, you know, see where we're going. It's not just pinball based.
So what would be your favourite holiday that you've had?
Like all of them? No, the hearse was especially cool because we got to drive Route 66 and I went to my first IFPA World Championship in Denver. That was so cool. And being the youngest person, like, fantastic.
So why the hearse? Can I just ask that?
Oh, okay, yeah. I actually forgot, but basically we had 4 pinball machines in the back. Most of the time it was 3, but on the last little leg in California, we had 4. I don't know why. We just decided to do that for some reason because we're a bit special. We like to have a lot of machines.
And so what number is it up to now? 120 something?
I'd have to look on Pinside. Oh,
okay.
Something. It is 120 something, yes.
Okay, can you name them all?
Yes, if I tried. It would take me a hot minute to do so, but I probably could.
So for those people that might not know, we've actually had Danny's dad, Dave Peck, on our show before, and we did talk about a great collection that he has. So have you always had, like, for you personally, always had pinball machines your whole life? Yes,
like if you look me up, you'll probably find a cute little photo of me when I was 3 or 4 and I was playing Rocky and Bullwinkle. Man, I always played. I played since I was in a little diaper. It was great, you know.
What's the what machines do you gravitate towards the most? Is it the System 11s or is it the newer DMDs?
Honestly, I like all of them. Like I used to say F14 Tomcat was my favourite game, but I'd probably say Aerosmith and Batman 66 are probably my favourites now. But I'll play any game. I love them all, from EMs to really moderns.
Is there any particular game that you really don't like?
Yes. Yes.
Wait, if it's a
Don't get me
System 11
started.
game, don't mention it. If it's a System 11, don't mention it.
Unfortunately, it is. But no, I
Okay,
don't
okay,
care.
well,
I'm
good.
savage.
Okay, wait. Good segue. Because I've got a little 32 team bracket elimination, and I've put all this. How many System 11 games are there? Like 31 or something.
Like it's 31
Okay.
or 32. Yeah.
I think I've kind of messed up a little bit because I might have missed out on one and put a couple of them in there twice. But this is the System 11 World Turd Championship. Okay, I'm going to give you a tournament. I'm going to give you 2 System 11 games, right? And you tell me which one's the biggest turd. Okay.
Okay.
And we have to get to 32, so it's a bracket elimination. So it has to be nice and quick. Okay.
Okay.
You can explain yourself a little bit when we get down to the semifinals. Okay.
Okay.
Bad Cats versus Pinbot. Which one's the worst
I
game?
like both of those. Bad Cats.
Is the worst. Okay. Bad Cats. Cyclone versus Swords of Fury.
Cyclone.
Space Station versus Jokers.
Oh no. Okay. That's a good one. Jokers.
Jokers is the biggest turd. Okay. F-14 Tomcat versus Game Show.
Oh, game show, totally. That's not even a competition.
I like
Grand
that show.
Lizard. Keith McTeeth. Grand Lizard versus Bonsai Run.
Oh. No, Banzai Run.
Yeah.
Bonsai Run. Yeah, no one likes that shit. No, I'm just joking. Hey, Marty, remember when you asked me at that Silver Ball Museum thing if I played any cool games that I've never played before? Bonsai Run. Yeah, the flippers weren't strong enough to get it up to the top of the thing. It was so frustrating. Fire versus Earthshaker.
Fire, totally.
Fire. Black Knight 2000 versus Dr. Dude.
Oh, no, Black Knight 2000. Controversial, but that's
What?
Okay.
I'm putting an end to this
Turd.
interview right now. That is crazy talk.
Elvira versus Big Guns. Big boobies versus big guns.
Oh, no, that's accurate. Oh, no, Elvira. I'll say Elvira. Big boobies all the way.
Okay. Dyna versus High Speed.
Oh, that's really hard. Oh, was it Dyna versus High Speed?
Yeah, I didn't see these properly, so there's going to be some good games against other good games.
Fine. No, I like Dyna too much. The other one.
Okay. That's
High speed.
Pinbot. Pinbot's been here before. It's going to get a second chance. Pinbot versus Police Force.
Oh, no, I'm going to say Police Force.
Okay.
I like it though. Oh,
Pool Sharks versus Radical.
Pool Sharks. I can't. Radical's cheesy, but I like it way too much.
I
when it
really
says
like Radical.
Cowabunga, it's too good.
Roller Games versus Road Kings.
Oh, Road Kings.
Okay.
Come on. Who doesn't love roller games?
Thank
Who's one
you.
person that doesn't love it?
Yeah.
Millionaire versus Mousing Around.
Girl, you trying to make a joke. That's no competition. Millionaire. I'm sorry. No, Millionaire.
Riverboat Gambler versus Taxi.
Riverboat Gambler.
Okay, and this is where I stuffed up. I think Taxi versus Transporter.
Oh, that's terrible seating because they're both fantastic. Oh,
Well, that's not terrible seeding them because it's meant to be the biggest turd, so it'll get knocked out the next round.
You should make this easy for me, Ryan. I'm feeling attacked. No. Oh no, I don't even. Repeat the games.
Taxi versus Transporter. It's going to go up against Bugs Bunny next, so it doesn't matter. So you can
it
choose
doesn't even matter. It literally doesn't matter. Transporter.
Transporter. Okay.
I don't agree with that.
Okay. Whirlwind versus Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny. Easy.
Okay. All right. Second round. Let's power through. Bad Cats versus Cyclone.
Bad Cats.
Bad Cats. Jokers versus Game Show.
Oh, Jokers.
Wow. Okay. Jokers. Bonsai Run versus Fire.
Oh, Fire.
Fire. She really doesn't like fire. Black Knight 2000 versus Elvira.
Elvira. Yeah.
Wow. Do not like Elvira. Okay. High Speed versus Police Force.
Police Force.
Police Force. I'm trying to figure out which is the one that you really don't like.
I think I know what it is.
But there's about 3 or 4. Pool Sharks versus Road Kings.
Road Kings. I don't like Road Kings.
Okay.
As you can tell.
Millionaire versus Riverboat Gambler.
Millionaire.
Transporter versus Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny.
All right,
Bugs
down
Bunny.
to the final 8. Bad Cats versus Jokers.
Jokers.
Wow, I think it's Jokers. Fire
It's not.
versus Elvira.
Fire.
Okay. Police Force versus Road Kings.
Oh, Road Kings. I hate both of them, but Road Kings a little bit more.
Millionaire versus Bugs Bunny.
Millionaire. No question.
The final 4. This is when you have to explain yourself a little bit.
I can do that. Yes.
Jokers versus Fire. Which one's the biggest turd and why?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, see. Okay, now I got to talk this out. See, Fire is terrible artwork and terrible sounds, and it's so annoying to start every game when you push it, and it's like, it's just like, shush. That was a terrible impression, but it's terrible. I don't like the shot layout. No offense to anyone who likes the game. I just don't, it doesn't push my buttons. What's the other one? I've already forgotten.
Jokers.
Jokers. Okay, see, I'm biased because I totally used to love that game because it used to have short legs on it. So I used to just be able to play it. What a crappy rule set. No offense to anyone as well who likes it, but what a sad rule set. And what is that middle range?
You can offend people, Danny. It's okay.
Yeah,
you can
it's
offend
all right.
people.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. And I'm sorry, but the double your score, it's beautiful because you can really piss people off. But it's not the best.
So which one's the biggest turd? Drum roll.
Jokers.
Okay. On to the grand final. So the last one of the semi-final, Road Kings versus Millionaire.
Oh, this is actually harder than I thought it would be because I knew it was going to be the biggest turd. But now I'm second guessing myself because, Road Kings has kind of a cute rule set a little bit. I mean, the shots aren't the nicest. The rules aren't as deep as, the more modern of the System 11s. But I kind of have a little bit of heart for it because on the back glass, that guy's face in the little chariot thing, he's got the best face I've ever seen. If you don't know what it is, look it up on International Pinball Database.
I'm looking it up now.
Fantastic.
Yeah, what do you mean he says the best face? He's a good-looking guy?
He just looks like... No. He just looks like he's going to go for a bit of a poo, He's got... It looks like he looks like he's having a terrified poo.
Yep, I can see it for sure.
You can
Something's
see
going
it?
on.
Yeah. It's kind of got cool music though.
And Millionaire?
Millionaire, there's no redeeming factor. Terrible all over. I really don't like it. I'm sorry, I just don't. What is that blue? I've written this on Pinside. If you do some digging, you're able to find me ripping this one a new one. But what is that blue? The blue is an eyesore. What is the music? That's an ear saw. What are the rules? It's a life saw. The whole thing, I just can't deal. I just don't see any redeeming factors in it. I'm sorry. I know some people really like it because it is kind of a beginner's game. But to me, it's not my bag at all. So Millionaire, definitely straight into the finals.
So the guy taking a dump on the Millionaire back class is the redeeming factor of Road Kings. On to the grand final. You've already explained what you don't like about the game. So drum roll, the biggest turd System 11 game, is it Jokers or Millionaire?
Millionaire.
Millionaire is the winner.
Yeah,
I knew that.
It was kind of a
start.
predetermined outcome because I just don't like it enough, But I mean, Jokers is pretty bad. But
it was also the one game that your dad said that of the System 11s he absolutely hated. So I figured it would be the same.
Runs in the family.
So I mean, we were going to do the best of, but hate is funnier sometimes than love.
The funny thing is, I actually like a lot of the games that I had to put through in the first round, like Bad Cats. I had to put Bad Cats through because it's got a bad rule set, but I love Bad Cats. Meow, 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 meow. Who doesn't love it? It's adorable.
What's your favourite out of them all?
Oh, that's a good
currently.
question.
Just what do you want to play the most? If you had to walk into the room, you see all of them there. What's the game that you go to first?
Taxi. But that's only because I did get it in disc, on it. That was pretty good.
Smashed everyone. And then you went to Junkyards. And Danny, you didn't come to play, Danny. You came to slay, okay?
I was waiting for that's going to come up. My just quote of the century that I stole off of RuPaul's Drag Race. It's great.
I want to ask Danny if she is going to Pinburg this year.
Unfortunately, because I intend to go to university, I'm not going to Pinburg this year. I actually had the ticket bought, but I didn't want to go because I wanted to go do uni because I'm a full-on nerd.
What are you studying at uni?
I have signed up for a conjoint degree, which is kind of like double degree, but it's a Bachelor Arts and Bachelor Science majoring in psychology, sociology, and Chinese. I might do a bit of politics. That sounds so boring. I know. I love it.
Nerd. It doesn't sound boring at all. Oh, fuck, move on. Shit.
So what kind of job, I mean, are you doing that because there's a job out there that you want and you think that this is the best avenue to get it, or is that just the stuff that you're interested in and you want to see where it takes you?
See, it's really interesting, but I totally see the outcome of me giving out terrible psychiatric advice in the future. You know? Totally.
It's for your dad to stop buying pinball machines, isn't it?
Yes,
it's an investment in self-help.
It definitely is. But, I love it all.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, I mean, will you, before we move on to the news, will you be traveling less, you think, now that you're going to be starting university, or will you still jump on the family?
It just depends what time of year it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been traveling less in the past few months anyways because I've got my external exams for high school coming up, which is, insane. But I think I'll get back into external travel again at some point. But, especially if it's in that summer break, around December, January, okay. I'm definitely going to make it to some things.
Cool. Let's head to some news, Marty. What's been the hot topic of this week?
Well, we're not going to start with necessarily the best news of the week. But I was, as is a regular thing, listeners, I've mentioned this before, but I do often get woken up to interesting news that's been linked by Ryan. And this one was news from Jersey Jack announcing some changes to Pirates of the Caribbean. And I wasn't happy after watching it.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that you kind of think of is it's a bit of a fail. There's nowhere else to put it. And I guess what we're talking about, are you going to play the clip, Marty, or are we just going to talk about it?
Yeah, let's play the clip, shall we? Just for those people that haven't, we'll play the clip.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Eric Minier, game designer at Jersey Jack Pinball. I designed Pirates of the Caribbean. Yar! I'm here to give you guys an update on how we're coming along for production. Games are coming out soon. With that in mind, we've made some tweaks from the prototype games from the extensive testing that we've done here at Jersey Jack. So we test games in the field, we test them at pinball shows, we test them internally, and we found some mechanisms that required some tweaking in order to make the games perfect for you when you have them in your home. The first change we've made was to the triple spinning disc mechanism. We decided to change it to a single spinning disc physically in the playfield. It's a much more reliable mechanism, runs a lot quieter. It's an established mech that's been used for years in pinball. No concerns about its reliability anymore. And as you can see here, we're still doing the random generated award. We still have the plundering, so you can steal from other people that you're playing against, the jackpots, random awards, multipliers, etc. The playfield art itself has been brought in slightly to use just the single spinning disc. You can see the art there and how it looks. And there it is. The other tweak we've made was to the chest mechanism. So the lid of the chest is now going to stay open at all times. This used to open and close with the diverter mechanism underneath the chest that kicked the balls up into the chest. That was causing a couple issues at different shows. And now with it stationary, this is a much better shot. The ball shoots into there, doesn't kick back out. It's much more reliable, and I'm very happy with it. So the rigorous testing we've done here at Jersey Jack has found these issues before we put the games out for production, which is something I'm very proud of. I really want these games to hold up for generations to come, and I'm glad we made these changes. I can't wait for people to get these games and play them in their homes.
I wonder if the stream they're going to show is they already have that single disc in there, or if they're still going to just show that concentric spinning disc.
I'd say it would be the single disc. Can I just say something? Like, we've obviously spoken to Eric, and we know some people at JJPOTC. It felt to me that he was really not wanting to have that announcement, and you could just tell it was pretty gutting to him, because those concentric circles were such a major selling point to the machine. It was just everything really centered around those. It was such a unique, really eye-catching sort of, device, and now it's gone.
It's a bit of a weird one, because I guess you have to see this from a whole bunch of different people's point of view. For the Jersey Jack, it's gutting for them because it's kind of behind their face. They drop the ball by announcing something that is not going to be in there. And it's not like they announce something like, like a diverter, and then it's not a diverter anymore at the back that you can't see. As you said, Marty, it's one of the central focal points of the pinball machine. And the other, I guess, is the end user who had pre-ordered the machine, waiting patiently, and then they're kind of still, at the moment, they might change, paying the same amount for something and getting less than what they kind of ordered. What are your thoughts, Danny?
I mean, I don't have too many thoughts, but I mean, I can see why they're changing, the game a little bit to make it a bit more reliable and more user-friendly. But I mean, I guess it was kind of, especially the discs were kind of an integral part of the game, so I can see why people are upset and whatnot about it. So, I mean, overall, I don't really have much to say about it, but...
Yeah, it's weird, because if you look on a Pinside or any forum where people are talking, people are going bananas, aren't they, Marty?
Oh, absolute mental. And... well, we know enough about the pinball community to know that, it can be, people can get their pitchforks out at minor things. I don't see this as a minor thing. I'm in two minds, because I didn't really like the way the concentric circles made the ball way too random, so I don't actually mind that it's now a single disc. There you go, I've said it. But... It was such a great feature of the machine. I was hoping to get used to it because it was just so cool.
The coolest part that, I was excited by it only because I wanted to see them stop and award something.
Yeah.
It's a physical mystery award, right? It's probably been done in some form on a pinball machine. I think on No Good Gophers or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Disc.
Yeah.
But 3 discs kind of lining up perfectly, and every time they start, they've been streaming it for like a month and a half or so. Every time they do the stream, I log in. I ask, is the disc working now? And they say no, and then I log out, because I don't want to see the pinball machine until that's working. And they say, yeah, maybe next week. They never showed it, so maybe that was the issue. It's not wear and tear. It's getting it to stop on a dime, as they kind of boasted about it.
Yep.
The biggest thing for me is, are the people that are really bummed out, are they bummed out because they think the triple spinning disc is fun, the way it interacts with the ball, or are they bummed out because they wanted to say, hey, I've got a pinball machine, come over and play it. It's got 3 spinning discs that spin a different direction. There's no other pinball machine on the planet Earth that does this except for my Jersey Jack Pirates of the Caribbean. Why are people so bummed out? Because a spinning disc isn't, for me, that fun. Like it's like, oh wow, look at the ball. Is it going to chuck it straight down the middle, or is it going to put it on? Which way is it going to go? It's not that fun. It's not that fun for me. I said the cool part was the possibility of the awards. Danny, you've got X-Men and stuff. Like, do you like spinning discs next to the flippers?
I mean, it's all right, isn't it? It can be a bit random and annoying at times, but I mean, from what I can tell, I haven't played the Pirates of the Caribbean yet, the JJP one, but I mean, it looks actually kind of fun to have it there and to interact with it a little bit. I just don't know because I haven't played it, but it actually did look like a cool feature.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm saying, Ryan. Is that besides the fact that you've got a really cool layout, and there's lots of other stuff in it that's still really good, but when we first saw this machine being released, we literally just lost our shit over it, right? And there was a lot of things that we lost our shit over, right? There was just so many things. But this is something that's really quite special. It was special. It was very unique to this machine, and it was innovative. And it's kind of not there, and it's now just been replaced by something that really... what was it? Twister.
Isn't that special?
Twister.
Yeah.
Twister's another one that's got it.
It's funny because when they
Lost in Space.
when he announced it, it was like, this is not only a triple spinning disc, it also has optos on it. It can spin at different speeds. It can it has the inserts on it. It was such a step forward. It wasn't just like, this is the next step. It's like this is the next step plus the next 5 steps. We just taken this massive leap, right? In kind of hardware. And then when he announced that it's not there anymore, it's just, we changed it from 3 to 1. It's not that. It's the fact that it was so innovative. They know that. They're not happy that this is happening.
No.
I don't think they thought this was, as I said, people get their pitchforks out. There hasn't been a controversy in a while. Stern didn't screw up the Iron Maiden release. So, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, damn them, because now people are like, what do we get angry over? We get angry over this.
People have got to be angry at something.
If there's a big delay in people getting angry over stuff, then, it's like the media. Like, it's just distractions.
That's true.
And so I think people are overreacting. But if you really think about it, people are upset about, it doesn't have this one feature anymore. It still has. I was talking to Zach from Straight Down the Middle, and we were just back and forth about it. And he's like, it still has like 4 or so like unique things that aren't in any other pinball machines. It still has the rocking ship. It still has the compass. It still has that Maelstrom ramp that diverts and goes around kind of like a whirlpool. It still has that magnet area where it chucks the ball around. Like, people forget about all these things, so they're just like, this one feature.
See, though, it was kind of integral, so you can kind of empathise with why they're kind of,
Well, I mean, as I said, a spinning disc is a spinning disc, and I know it was the ball movement was kind of slightly different, but they're still awarding the same stuff on the massive LCD screen, the biggest LCD screen that any manufacturer is bringing out. So they're still doing that. So I don't know. I don't have any money down on it, so maybe my reaction will be different. I think that some people were getting cold on the pinball machine, possibly because, hey, hype doesn't last a year. It got announced in October last year. The hype is dying down. All the hype is shifted to Iron Maiden, and people are looking for something like, okay, I guess I can cancel my order and get upset and pull my money out. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's fair.
The chest, again, that was kind of a cool feature as well. That doesn't really bother me as much.
No one cares about that.
No, I know,
Yeah.
but it really, what it was, if you think about it, it was... Oh, okay, you ready? I'm going to say it. Here it comes. Brace yourself. World Under Glass.
Whoa! I'm quaking. That's fantastic.
What was particularly good about this? And I know you've still got the rocking ship. What was really good about this game was moving parts. Moving parts inside under the glass made it a world under glass. So you can trick people into thinking that it's moving by, you can do the same sound and then people will know when the chest is open. I mean, I saw these comments, and I mean, there's a lot of stupid comments that have been kind of made over the weekend, and one of them was, Houdini and Aerosmith, like the chest opens and closes, no worries. How come you can't do it, Jersey Jack? And I'm like, because it's not the same chest, you freaking idiot. Like, and Keith Johnson came online and he explained that the diverter to put the ball in there, like the thing that kind of drops down. Because if you remember, you can shoot through the chest to then, it's a little mini loop to feed that upper left flipper. So the diverter kind of pops down, and it was all kind of like welded together. So, and that part I 100% believe, because that was malfunctioning when we were doing it. But I'm not sure if anyone's actually seen the other disc malfunction. And if you go to the Straight Down the Middle deluxe review thing, he says they've tested it for 1,000 hours and it's reliable and this and that. So I don't know what the real story is. I don't think people said it's being costed out. I don't think it is, but I think this will be an ongoing debate and we'll learn about it more. This is still pretty fresh, only a couple of days old. Yeah, look, we'll learn about it more in the next coming weeks. Again, just watching the video, which we will link you if you go to our Facebook pages there anyway. But I could just tell, looking at Eric and listening to his voice, it was not a decision they wanted to do at all. I'm sure he would have done whatever he could. I mean, he's an engineer. He would have done whatever he could to make that work. And you could just tell he was gutted that he had to make the announcement.
Well, he threw me off because he started off with a yar, and I was like, "Oh, good news! It's good pirate news." And just whenever he talks about pirate stuff, he's got to do a yar.
That's right. But also remember, when pirates say yar, pirates aren't good people. So they're happy about bad things. So think about that.
It's the immersion. He's a method actor. He's just becoming. He's going to remove everything from the playfield now.
He's just literally he's stolen from you. Is basically what's happened, and that's how everybody felt apparently. And then everybody's saying, "Oh, it better cost less money now." Oh, anyway.
It's still. I mean, I think they still have to include something or do something, but it's not. I don't think it's going to be saving him that much money because they still spent all the time engineering it. They still had to prototype it. They still had it running, and maybe on the bill of materials, slightly by $20 or $30 or however much it costs in difference to make. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff being. I mean, there's all these people like mocking up designs and starting like upvote this thread if you want to change to this or this or this, and it's like I don't think it works that way. I don't think. Like, hey guys, let's whatever the pin side people vote the most, let's do that. I don't know. I think they've just. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, let's move on because we can talk about it for hours. Zach Sharp. 2 bits of news on Zach Sharp this week, Marty.
Okay.
What are they?
I don't know. You tell me the news about Zach Sharp.
He's having a kids. Congratulations.
Yeah, well done. Congratulations. And, still works.
Yep. And you idiot. He's no longer the world's #1 pinball player according to the IFPA rankings. It is now Raymond Davidson.
Yay!
Well done,
so
Raymond
excited.
Davidson. So I've met Raymond a couple of times, in disc twice, and you've met him as well, Danny.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited for him. It's so exciting. Oh,
so you don't.
He's so good.
You don't get a trophy or anything, like, because the scores are always kind of floating. So it's just like you get like a post on the IFPA website, and then everyone, I guess, sends you a text message and podcasts to say, it's a new world #1. But it's always floating, and I don't think he won a competition that triggered it. I think possibly, I could be wrong, one of Zach's older results maybe expired or got downgraded. Is that how it works, Marty?
Yeah, because what it is, it's your top 20 tournaments are used for your ranking, and I think that might be over a 3-year period, maybe. So it could have
Danny,
been that.
You probably know more about this, Danny, than us.
Yeah. Oh no, it's all right. I secretly thought that in my head, but it's okay. Continue on.
No, so that it would have been a combination of things. So he did win some tournaments, relatively recently that were worth good points. The IFPA US, the National Pinball Championships, that was worth 48 points. So that's a lot of points. At Indisc in January, when he won Classics, that was 66 points. Now let's not forget that I won your Heads Up tournament, and I got 0.5 points. I think it was something like that. So, to be able to win. And look, also, he won the IFPA World Championship last year. That was 125 points for winning that, right? So
he just is this off by heart? Or are you just looking at his IFPA profile?
No.
I'm looking at it, and it is still 125.
Right, well, there you go. Right. Now, I was looking at it a couple of days ago. So he's just, well, God, he is very good. One thing about him is that he is, the way I've watched his play style, he's very calm, and he knows when to move the machine when he needs to, if that makes sense. He's not somebody who'll throw it around willy and or nilly. He gets it, but when he needs to move it, he really moves it. But he's just got very good shot accuracy. Just knows the rules deeply, but picks his shots and makes them. Shot accuracy is just incredible.
Danielle, do you watch a lot of like Twitch and a lot of competitive pinball online?
I mean, I watch it here and there. I definitely watched the Pepper Circuit finals the other week. That was very good to watch. I But I mean, I don't watch it all the time because I'm such a nerd buried in my little school books. But I mean, when I do watch it, I greatly enjoy it.
Okay. So you've obviously watched Raymond a lot because, he's a top tournament player.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So could I just also, I actually am now looking at his ranking on IFPA. And what I'll tell you is this. This year, he came third in the Papa Circuit Final. Like, we watched that, he came third. Those points were worth 32 points. They don't contribute to his overall points.
Because it was a close-off event.
Well, no, because 32 points.
No, his other ones are so high. His lowest, his lowest like tournament value is a 32.78 from 2016. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So he's actually now got to win. He's got to really win some big tournaments. Otherwise, there's not a lot of change to his standing, unless, as we talked about before, older scores go off.
Yeah, I guess that's when you stop going to all the little tiny tournaments around town to build up the score.
Well, there you go. So I'm looking at he's got a Pingberg match play, so he came second. That was worth 60 points, and that was August 2nd, 2015. So he could lose those 60 points, and it be replaced with 32 points. So he loses 30 points just like that.
This is
I don't know if he'd lose that much every year, but that's all good. See, what's really interesting, little statistics me getting in here, it's really interesting because Raymond has such like high values, like he's got just a few high values that really drag up his mean average, like the 125 for that like World Championships in Denmark, compared to Zach Sharp, who kind of has more like high ranking, but not like a random 125.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. So boring. I know.
Let's move on to the greatest pinball machine that has ever made. Somebody once told me. Shrek. I know it's your favorite pinball machine, Danielle.
Oh, yeah, totally.
This week, it got the color DMD treatment. Do you also have a Family Guy, or do you just have a Shrek?
We have both. One's up in Auckland, one's in our house here in Pukekohe.
Which would you prefer to play?
I don't like... Oh, actually, no, I like Family Guy because the call-outs are less repetitive. I mean, they're still bad. But interestingly, the people who come over to my house prefer Shrek a lot more.
Do you invite 3-year-olds to your house?
Yes. Yes. Right on the nose.
Well, so I won't say that I prefer Shrek, although I have said that before. I don't know what it is about it. I mean, I just think that when you've got a fantastic license like Family Guy, I don't think the pinball does it justice. Go with me on this. But then when you've got Shrek, which is a fairly average theme, and you've got a fairly average layout, it kind of doesn't feel like it's a miss. It just feels like, okay, that's just what it is. It kind of matches it.
Shrek is one of the highest grossing franchises of all time. Like the box office results for that movie are absolutely insane. But I guess they drained all the milk out of it, and it got dry very quickly. But
just also on that, just so for those people that don't know, because there will be some people that don't know, Stern released Family Guy as a pinball machine. It didn't sell all that well, and wasn't it that it was actually Jersey Jack, back when he was a Stern distributor, he sort of gave them the idea. He said, well, why don't you retheme it? And so then they turned it into a Shrek machine. So exactly the same playfield layout. In fact, I think it's got the same rules, just a different artwork and different callouts.
Yes.
Yeah, when I had the Family Guy here, you can also... It has the exact same hardware, so you can stick in a USB stick. So you can tell your dad, Danny, that he can sell one of them, because you can, I guess 20 minutes, you can convert one to the other. And it's actually funny.
Hey, though.
Yes.
If my mum knew that Dad would sell Shrek, girl, you don't want to know what's going to go down, girl. My mum loves Shrek so much. It's in her toy room, right? She has it up with all her soft toys. So if that left the family, then there would be a lot of tension in the family, should we say. Okay.
So, yeah, look, again, it's one of those things with, Colour DMD releasing a Colour DMD, 10 people go, awesome.
Yeah, they've pretty much done everything that people want except for...
Ghostbusters.
Have they done World Cup Soccer yet? Ghostbusters? Yeah, Ghostbusters every single time, and maybe World Cup Soccer or something. But I guess they have to space them out, because if they did every single game that people want and then it would just fade off into obscurity... I hope that after they do it all, they then do energized dots where it's all the dots in between. But I think they'd have to get a license or something to do that. What else are we going to talk about?
TNA's
Total
got
Nuclear
new code.
Annihilation.
Yes.
Yeah. So the new code is out, and I think we talked about that last week. But the Scott said that he's going to have a break from coding the pinball machine, and then he was going to the Midwest Gaming Classic, and he decided to not take a break, and he implemented speedruns. Do you know about this, Danny?
Unfortunately, you cut out for like a good chunk of time, just as you said that. So no, I don't know.
Well, I do.
For you, mate, or not?
Yeah, I got it. So bottom line,
Okay.
it is. But I don't know. Maybe you can tell me how it actually works. But bottom line, it's timing you to get to each of the reactors. But what I don't know is whether you just play the game and it just times you every time you get a reactor, or whether you can actually go, right, party game, everybody, we're going to time each other to get to reactor 3 or reactor 4, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's just a high score table. So it's not intrusive in the gameplay at all. You don't really know that it's happening. It's just at the end of the game, it might say, hey, you got the highest score, because it starts the timer when you start the reactor, when it does the whole psh, 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 and shoots it out. And when you blow up the reactor, it stops the timer, and it does it for all 9 reactors. I guess some people will only fill the first couple of tables. It's nothing major, but I guess it's just for some people that I guess are versing each other, because some players are kind of just trying to one up each other. Like, I got this, the highest score. What's the next thing that you can do? People are obsessed with speedruns in the gaming world. All the old school games, Mario. How fast can you do it? And they usually do it through glitches and stuff like that. But with pinball, I guess there's no real glitches. It's just all skill and a bit of luck.
Well, it sort of does remind me when I was over at your place and we did the reactor. Was the reactor 1 challenge, wasn't it? When it was,
yeah.
As soon as you get reactor 1, it's game over, and then it's just the highest score. This could be something similar, where I was sort of saying before when I was asking the question, if you did like a party game and it said, right, you got to get to reactor 1, but it's actually timed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that would be fun, but there's no way to tell on this unless you physically timed it on your phone. But you're right. I guess this is just, there's so many different ways to play now. I said you can do the reactor 1 challenge. You can we can do a reactor 2, 3, or 4 challenge. You can play co-op. You can play team co-op.
It's a party game.
You can play a normal game of pinball. It's the pin that just keeps giving. And Danny, I believe your dad, Dave Peck, he is the New Zealand distributor for Spooky. Is that right?
Yes, and you should totally buy a game off of him, because he's a very good distributor. He'll get great deals for you. It's fabulous. It's very good. Now I can just jump in talking about TNA for a sec here.
Yeah, go for it.
It's so exciting. Like, it sounds so cool, and I love the idea and how they've implemented it. I'm so excited to play it.
Have you got yours yet?
No, it's taking a long time on the water,
Yeah.
We're a long, far way away.
But you got to play it at Indisc, right?
I actually didn't play it there. I was too busy in tournament mode, sadly.
Oh, that's right, because you were focusing on, it was like classics and the women's, weren't you?
Yeah, so this is going to sound like really weird, but I have only played it as a whitewood. I haven't actually played it in its final form yet.
Wow.
Okay.
I know everyone's heads just exploded, but I actually haven't played it since it's a whitewood, and I loved it. So I'm excited to actually see what it plays like now.
Well, it's even better.
Whitewood's good. I when I was at TPF, remember TPF money?
Did you go to TPF, right?
I did. I had an awesome time there.
Is that the Texas Pinball Festival?
It is. It was in March 2018. I played a lot of the whitewood because I'm not going to get to play it again, and it is a little bit slower than the production machine because you don't have that kind of clear coat that helps the ball glide along. But the sound system in that original one is like a $600 sound system. Like he never thought it was going to go to production, so he just splashed out and just put this insane sound system in there. It sounds better, obviously, because it's more expensive, but little things like the super spinner sound different coming out of a high quality speaker. And yeah, I was in heaven playing that game. If I had an original and Scott was like, "Hey, do you want to swap?" I would say, "Yeah, give me your Sharpie shitty white words. I will take that any day over the original, just because it's unique and the super spinner sounds. It's one of the best sounds in pinball."
Well, there you go. What else have we got?
Shall we go to our segment called Iron Maiden Circle Jerk? Because no one has anything horrible to say about Iron Maiden, and so every week we talk about it. It's called the Iron Maiden Circle Jerk. So we're just going to talk about how cool Iron Maiden is. Danny, I'm guessing your dad has a pro on order.
I don't know. I don't think he does. He might. That's actually a good question.
Does. Come on.
He might. Hey, I don't know what he has anymore. I've lost track. We just get new ones in all the time, and I'm just like, what is this? And he's like, oh, it's this. And I'm like, okay.
He'll have to have one for sure.
I guess we saw the Dead Flip stream in the last week. Was that this? Yeah, we didn't talk about it last week.
It was part 2. So, and it has been recorded, so you can actually see an archived version of it. And our good friend Keith Elwin came out and did all the rules again.
He really didn't want to do it. You could just tell he was just like, I really don't want to do this again. Explain it in detail again.
I know.
But he did, and I didn't. I said I'm not watching too much footage because I can't wait 2.5 months while knowing everything about the machine. But I did watch little bits of it, and it does look absolutely amazing. Marty, your thoughts?
Well, okay. I did watch the stream, and I'll ask you a question. So I was watching it, and he was going through the rules. What do you think happened to me?
Did you get really excited like I get excited? It's either that or you're just like, it's just too complicated.
I fell asleep.
Okay.
and I'm not actually joking. I actually fell asleep. And it was kind of like, but I really wanted to watch it because I want to understand the rules and I want to understand your world, like getting about rules, right? But I actually fell asleep. Admittedly.
What did you? Yeah, go for it.
I was gonna say, admittedly, I'd just come off a stream, so you know what that's like.
Full of gin.
Yeah, but
what did you walk up to me while we were playing Metallica on the weekend? What did you walk up to me and say? When I shoot the snake, like how does it work? And I'm like, what the shit? How can you not know this?
I
Metallica?
didn't say that. I was talking about lit shots and whether they count as a shot towards the pick it up.
That's really basic Metallica knowledge, like really fucking basic Metallica knowledge.
Sure. Fair enough.
What I'm saying is you'd be a much better player if you just gave a little shit about the rules. I don't know.
But you know what? All I want to know is question answer. It was like, well, you've got to do this and you multiply by this and this jackpot becomes that. It's like, oh, fuck, just tell me what I've got to hit.
Just tell me how to get into multi-ball. I really want to get into multi-ball. All right. Marty and Danny, since we got 2 people on, do you guys notice that when you have a Stern pinball machine, a brand new one, and there's a bunch of default high scores, and there's like on Tron, it'll be like GS for Gary Stern?
Sure.
Yes.
So Gary Stern is a very prominent person there, and he's usually either the for a while he was always the high score. Now, I got excited when the firmware came out because my little routine, I know this is super nerdy, is that when the firmware comes out, I open it up in Pinball Browser and I kind of just listen to the sounds, and I go, and there might be like 4,000 sounds or something, but I just click, auto play next, and it just goes through them all, and I'm like, oh wow, that'd be cool, if that got put in there. I went to the high score table and Gary Stern is no longer there. And do you want to know who is in there instead of Gary Stern?
What, KME?
Yeah, Keith?
No. Okay.
KME being Keith.
Yeah. He's in there, but who else is in there? Because Gary Stern is not in there at all. And there's a lot of champions. You know how on Walking Dead has like Bicycle Girl champion, X-champion, Crossbow champion? There's a million of these ones, right? So, Levy, do you know Levy, Crazy Levy?
Yep.
Yep, he's in there. Tom Soxton, right? Tim Soxton's like alter ego, like a joke between them, right? He's in there over Gary Stern. Who else we got? Dialed M. I'm not sure if that's meant to be dialed in or something, a joke about that. Escher's in there. Gomez is in there. Okay. Keith's girlfriend is in there over Gary Stern. Okay. and this is the biggest slap in the face. And to Gary Stern, Keith's girlfriend's dog is in there as a champion.
Oh my gosh. That's the coolest thing ever.
It's the power jackpot champion is in there over Gary Stern, and I found that fucking hilarious.
That's something that you guys should appreciate. That's fantastic. Oh my gosh.
Let's just say in the next code update, I'm sure that'll be addressed, Keith, if you want to keep your job.
So, I mean, I've put in the show notes there, Keith is the captain now, ? Because it's just that, that meme, I am the captain now. I'd like to think with all these changes that are kind of going on in Stern that Keith is just like, this is the way it is. This is my game. I get to do whatever the hell I want. So well done, Keith. Before we talk about Iron Maiden at MGC, I've got some of my favorite call-outs for you, Marty. Are you ready?
I am ready. You love your call-outs.
Okay. Yeah. So, basically I went through the call-outs and almost everything that is said twice. One in the Beast's voice and one in the not Game of Thrones UK girl voice. No one knows who she is, but she's apparently not the UK voice from Game of Thrones, but she sounds exactly like her.
Might as well.
Okay. So, yeah. And it's a good mix. I think the Beast call-outs are like 10 out of 10. Like you literally cannot get better than these call-outs if you're going for this Beast kind of thing. The UK chick, on their own, when you listen to them on their own, they're pretty weak. Once they're in the game with all the background music going on, I think you need that kind of juxtaposition. You can't just have all the devil voice. You have to kind of have the high and the low. All right. Okay, Marty, I've got some call-outs for you. Okay. You ready?
Yes.
3X activated.
Rolls off the tongue. Okay, now which one would you rather, guys? Okay, Danny and Marty, would you rather have this person telling you to shoot the left ramp?
Shoot the left ramp.
Right? Or would you rather?
Shoot the left ramp.
Which one would you rather?
Oh, they're pretty similar.
So similar.
The Beast sounds freaking awesome.
I agree with that. I concur.
And he's full of compliments as well. So this is when he tells you that you're awesome.
You suck.
Yes.
That's yeah, okay.
Now, Iron Maiden is full. I mean, we talked about Jersey Jack being full of kind of like first hardware wise. Iron Maiden is full of new software stuff that hasn't been done before. So one of my hates in Ghostbusters is the bastardization of the word super jackpot, because I believe there's no jackpot. It's just super jackpots, and there's triple super jackpots. You can get a triple super jackpot that's something worth 3 million, and it's an amazing call out that means nothing because it can be worth 3 million. It's shit, right? On Iron Maiden, you have call outs for jackpots all the way up to, I think, sextuple jackpot, right? So that's sextuple
super jackpot.
Sorry, that's the super. So it goes all the way up to 6, and then you've got the super jackpots. You got super, double super, right?
Double jackpot.
And
I like it.
once you get all the way to the end, you get this. All right, this is a world's first in pinball machines.
So, spoiler alert, everyone.
Yeah, skip forward 20 seconds if you don't want to hear this.
Ultra super jackpot.
So an ultra super. So I don't think that's ever been done before. What is an ultra super and how do you get it? I guess we'll have to tune in to find out.
Yeah, hopefully it's worth a lot of points. Not like we know big points and you get 1 million points. You know when they call out big points and you just go, they are not big points. You are just now, you're shitting me.
What game?
Yes.
Aerosmith has 10 million big points. You should know, Danny. It's your favorite game.
Game of Thrones gives you literally like what, 1 million, 2 million? Not that much.
Yeah.
With a game multipliers, maybe the big points should be multiplied by whatever your multiplier is, or something like that.
Maybe.
I don't know. But I think Aerosmith.
They should
or is
call
it
it
Guardians of the
big
Galaxy?
points
Aerosmith is
if
okay.
you've got multipliers.
Yes. No, Aerosmiths, yes. Plural. No, it gives you like 10 million, 20 million. It's pretty good.
Okay, yeah. They're changing. So over the weekend, there were 30 plus Iron Maidens at MGC, which I believe is the largest pinball machine launch in history, possibly. I don't know. That's what they advertised it at.
30 machines is a lot to have the one machine in any location.
Yeah, and they had more. I think they had like about 50 Stern machines all up, and I'm not sure if you saw all the pictures that like Jared and stuff was posting on social media, but quite impressive.
It looked amazing.
Stern's showing why they're number one, and you know it's good. I mean, they're confident at the moment, and they have every right to be because Iron Maiden is kind of ticking all the boxes so far, and no one has anything really bad to say about it. Colin MacAlpine, current Pinburg champion and in the top 20 players in the world, he went to a tournament on the weekend and got to play Iron Maiden. So we thought, who better to kind of ring and talk about Iron Maiden than someone that's a top player and not currently employed by Stern. It's hard to find a top player that isn't currently employed by a pinball company at the moment.
They're all going to be snapped up soon.
Unbiased.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here we go.
So, yeah. With me today, we've got the current Pinburg champ, Colin MacAlpine. How you going, Colin?
Going well, yeah. Just got back from a weekend of pinball.
Yeah, you were up in Oklahoma City playing in the Cactus Jacks Silver Ball Showdown. Talk to us a bit about that.
It's essentially a mini Pinburg style at a really great location, you know, that no one would expect in this part of Oklahoma City, just, you know, a family fun center. But thankfully the owner there, Dan, is passionate about pinball, and he has an amazing collection on coin drop. That just phenomenal amount of machines. I think roughly somewhere in the order of maybe 40 or 50 pins, and then they have a bunch of people bring in from the local scene, and some from North Texas bring their pins as well, some of the classic games, like, because they don't have many early solid states or EMs, probably because they either don't want to maintain those types of pins or because sadly they don't earn as well. So yeah, but it's that way, you know, had the same kind of variety of like a Pinburg bank. So but the exact same format, except one fewer round per day.
So you're talking about like a 2 or 3 day competition, or?
Yeah, 3 days with including the finals. So Friday was 4 rounds of 4-player on a bank of 4 pins that's spanning from EMs to moderns, and then Saturday another 4 rounds of broken into divisions, just A and B of 64 players roughly, and then finals were starting this morning.
Okay, and how did you go?
Okay, not as well as I would have liked, but I washed out in the semifinals, so somewhere between 5th and 8th. I don't know how the points actually stacked up.
Is there more pressure on you now that you've won a major to perform, I guess either for yourself or other people's expectations on you?
Maybe a little bit, but I guess I don't view it that way. When I like some of the bad beats that I had, or if I was playing poorly, I can always just think to myself, this doesn't really matter because I've won Pinburg.
So I guess one of the main reasons why we're calling you, besides having a good old chat, is one of the machines that you were playing on there was a brand spanking new Iron Maiden Pro. Is that right?
That's correct.
So, how many games did you get on it, and what are your impressions?
So I put they did not have it in the qualifying rounds, except as an alternate. I think that they did use it as an alternate pin as a modern on the second day, and it did end up replacing another modern pin that broke down. But I didn't get assigned to that bank, and then they had it as one of the in one of the finals banks. And I actually played it for both my rounds, so both the quarterfinals and the round of 16, and as well as the semifinals. So, and then I played a few games here and there, in the in between rounds. You could unlike other tournaments where you can't practice, or you're not allowed to practice on the pins in between rounds because this is a public location and it's based off coin drop. The location they need to make their money. And so it's actually encouraged that you're allowed to, play the pins, before rounds, in between rounds, so that way the location can get maximum amount of money.
What happens, because I had the same thing at my tournament on the weekend, and people said, am I allowed to play in between rounds? And I said, sure, it's a bit distracting because in close space, but why not? But obviously, when the new round started, I just kind of like went around and turned all the machines off, or just kind of screamed at everyone to stop playing. And I'm having a great ball. I'm in multi-ball. It's like it doesn't matter. What happens when it's coin drop based? Is it the same rule? Just everyone you have to stop to start the new round?
Yeah, you have to stop, and then also if you happen to, because everybody's rounds, especially when you get into A and the B division the second day, some of the B division games, typically will run shorter, the rounds, the four games, and so if they happen to then go and start playing on a game that's in a bank that's of A division or another group that's still competing, whether A or B division, and they come up and say, hey, we were assigned to this pin, then they have to abandon their game, and then the group with the 4-player match can start on it. Okay,
so Iron Maiden.
Yeah, Iron Maiden.
As a person that's ranked, I believe, in the top 20 in the world, so you're more of an advanced player than the average Joe. How does the pin shoot?
It's a masterpiece. I mean, Martin is going to be ecstatic with how this thing plays. It shoots well. It has, from what I can experience so far, it has some great rules, a variety of modes. Some of the most satisfying, the most satisfying combo I did is there's a lot of good combo points. So Keith has done a good job with the rules of if you're hitting things in combination, you get more points. And I don't think it's quite as, I don't mean to be demeaning about it. It's not quite as simple of like a typical, like Lonnie, I know, Lonnie Roppin in lots of games, it's just double points if you hit a shot in combo.
Yeah.
But I think with Keith, they actually go up a little bit more than that. So there's this one mode that actually in tournament play, once again, it's amazing how advanced this code is out of the box, because the tournament mode, every player starts with the same mode lit, so that way it's fair to all players. But you can change the mode with the leftmost spinner, because there's 2 spinners, even on a pro, which, remarkable. We're talking about actual spinners on a pro, not the phantom spinners of super spinners on Guardians.
They're very expensive, those spinners. They're very expensive.
Yeah, I don't know. The spinners are one of the best parts of pinball, and yet they've unfortunately cheaped out. Stern had in the past, but thankfully, hopefully they're turning a corner, and now they're going to put spinners. But in a lot of the cases, even on the ones that they do have spinners on, the pro and the premium LEs of most modern recent Sterns, the spinners haven't necessarily been that important. That is all changed with Iron Maiden. And so the Fear of the Dark mode is what you start out on. And there's this excellent combination I did where you shoot the left ramp and then it lights your spinners. And so I first, immediately feeds the right flipper, and I shot the more of the central spinner, if you will, from the right flipper, which then is in orbit, and so it comes flying around the right. And instead of trying to hit it with the right flipper, the upper flipper, I let it come down to my right flipper, and on the fly nailed the leftmost spinner. So I had both spinners going at once when the spinners were huge value in that mode, and it felt so good.
Wow. Okay, so how about for the... I guess you didn't really have the average Joe player kind of in the tournament, because tournament people are usually the more advanced players. Do you feel like the design is also catered towards that average player that... do you think they'll have issues hitting that left ramp through the pops, or like that inner loop, I guess, that repeatable inner loop?
So, yes to both. But there's enough other things on the machine that are very accessible. So this is just the pro, but the obviously I think a common thing for any novice players or newer players is get them into a multi-ball.
Yeah.
And so this there's 2 different multi-balls that are fairly accessible. One is from the captive ball for the mummy.
Yeah.
And you only have, in between hitting captive ball, you only have to hit the gaping wide center ramp once after you spell mummy, and then I think then you hit it a couple more times. I think it's even spotting multiple letters that first time, so it's quite accessible. And then the other one is the drop target bank. If you complete that twice, it lights the locks for the trooper multi-ball. And, now it's fairly dangerous when it's set up for tournament play. Like, the people at Oklahoma City, they were really mean. And they didn't just take off the rubbers. They completely removed the outlane posts.
Oh. Bastards.
And
I don't know who would do that for a tournament.
Did you do that for yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Try an ACDC, no outlanes.
Oh, AC/DC even. That's wow. Yeah. So it's this unsatisfying thunk you hear when the right sling would hit a right slingshot over to the left outlane of Iron Maiden, and it would go thunk against the wood and down, and you were done.
Yeah.
But no, but it's accessible. So it's accessible for the average player. All the major arrow shots that have a white light on them, and they spell Eddie, and then you can start a mode at that, once again, that big, huge, gaping wide center ramp. And so the modes it's fairly easy to at least start one mode. But you mentioned the inner loop or the mini loop.
Yep.
The loop from the upper left mini flipper is extremely difficult to hit.
That's your super jackpot shot, is it? Or
no, that's the super jackpot is actually a stand-up lane, a dead-end lane that's above the mini loop.
Okay.
And then from the upper right flipper, which is a full-length flipper, that loop is more accessible. You need to hold up your mini flipper to increase your chances of hitting it, but then you only get single value because, once again, another cool rule. But on this particular setup with no outlane post, the side to side was death. Yeah. And so even though I got knocked out in the semifinals, in the semifinal round I had a really great game on Iron Maiden. I put up almost 200 million on ball one, and so that was quite satisfying. And I was doing it without using much of the upper flippers because, once again, I was avoiding the side to side.
So what does that inner loop, because I haven't studied the game enough, what does that inner loop, the shot that you said is super tight, what does that represent in the game if it's not the super jackpot?
I have no idea because I think I only hit it one time.
Is it? Would you compare it to maybe like a gem shot in its difficulty, or easier or harder? I guess you only hit it once, so you can't really say, right?
Yeah, I mean, I maybe once is a little bit maybe over exaggerating. Maybe I hit it more than that, but I intentionally, if you go and watch, I was actually on stream. So if you go and watch the, I think it's CJ Arcade is the Twitch channel, and so in the semifinal round when I was playing it, I was intentionally not doing a lot of flipping with the upper flippers. So
yeah.
But it looked like it really wasn't. I think there's something in the rules where if you hit that mini loop, I'm calling it the mini loop because it's coming from the mini flipper. If you hit that mini loop, I think it doubles the value of the other loop from the right flipper.
It's possibly on Keith Alwyn's little cheat sheet, or whoever wrote that little VIP pass backstage, whatever it's called. Did you have a read of that little thing? Because one of the interesting things that I saw on there was that there's different rules for. I mean, there's always different rules for tournaments, but little things like the skill shot is worth a different amount. I guess the tilt settings, that like the debouncer on the tilt is different if you're in a tournament, so you can't kind of slide the machine like crazy like you can kind of do on most turns and get away with it. So interesting that he's kind of tweaked the rules for tournaments, I guess, because he's played enough tournaments that you kind of getting the guy who's the most obsessive with these things.
Yes.
So moving on to some other things quickly, you mentioned messaged me the other day, said you were going on a little car drive to play some Total Nuclear Annihilation, which was about an hour drive or so away from you.
Yeah, it was no more than that. I was up on a business trip in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and so one of the locations up there just got a TNA, and so I spent the night up there before the meetings were starting the next morning, and I went. It's a location called the Cidercade in Dallas, and they had a TNA, and it was unfortunately it was not with the rest of the row of pins they have against a wall. I think about 20-something, 25 maybe pins, and most of them are pretty decent condition. I mean, little quirks here and there, but the TNA was in a separate room, and unfortunately that room was closed off for a private party. So wow. I felt a little bit snake bit because it's an extra about an hour. Yeah, it's about an extra hour drive from where I would be the next morning to drive there. And but thankfully it opened up. And so then as soon as the doors were open from that, I was immediately in there. And so I stepped up And on my first game that I played on that TNA, I'd played TNA in the TPF tournament and also the Whitewood from a year ago. But I stepped up and just, found that Zen zone that we all like as pinball players and was able to destroy Reactor 9 on my last extra ball 3. So
Nice.
very satisfying.
Yes. you can get added to the list of growing players that have done it, and maybe Scott Denise can have a "Is that you?" and then just list like 20 people or something.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, so I got to see the "Is that you?" Bowen on the screen when I finished. But yeah, it's really good. It's a lot of fun to play. Unfortunately, there was really nobody else that was around and watching and even knew the significance of what I'd just done, so that's kind of sad. But
You looked around waiting for the applause and it just wasn't there.
no, exactly. I'm in my own little world as a pinball player and nobody really cared. 5 feet away from me, people are shooting the basketball into one of those little basketball hoop games and they don't give a care about TNA.
Well, okay, 2,000 people have listened to your story now, so there you go. Colin MacAlpine destroyed Reactor 9. Geez, I could talk to you for hours, and we're going to get you on the show properly. Hopefully pre-Pinburg, we can do our pre-Pinburg show, and you can tell Marty how to not suck. Geez, what else can we talk about quickly before we go? Your rucksack. What have you done with it? Has it been opened? Is it being used?
Yeah, I put my rucksack on a maiden this weekend.
Okay. Oh gosh. Yeah. You had that joke planned, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I admit it.
That's a pinball dad joke and a half. All right, Colin. Well, I know you're tired because you've just arrived home. We will talk to you soon, and thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks. Cheers.
See ya.
So, but bottom line is, this is going to be an amazing machine. And I said months ago that I would buy this sight unseen. And, I think that's probably I did get to see at least pictures of it. I think this was a safe bet.
Well, not the LE.
Not the LE.
Not the LE. But,
So,
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess by the time the LE art and premium art, I believe, is approved now, by the time people listen to this, it might already be shown. But the LE is going to have a giant Spitfire, like a green Spitfire thing on the sides, and it's going to be all foiled out like the Batman thing was. I don't personally like the picture too much that they showed on the banner, which I believe is the picture on the LE. I think it's lacking a lot of detail, but I think that might be because when it's all 3D and foiled out, it needs to kind of have those big pieces that are the same color and not intricate detail.
yeah, fair enough. Well,
We'll see.
We'll see. Hopefully this week. Come on, Stern, get on with it. We want to see what my LE is going to look like.
What else we got, Marty?
What else have we got? Well, we've got more code. Well, in actual fact, Iron Maiden actually just got a code update as well. So I think that's now maybe 0.92.
92.
Yeah, and it was really just a bit of cleanup. They were, adding animations, removing animations, prioritizing audio callouts. It was just a bit of spit and polish, really. But it was the first update post initial code release. So there's the code. Yeah. #.
And then we've got new Batman code as well.
More Batman code.
Danny, you'd be So
I'm
Danny,
elated.
you're the only Batman expert. Yes.
Yes.
So have you had the Batman from day one?
We've had Batman not since day one, but it was a bit later. I don't know how long. We've had it for quite a while now, but it was before the code got really good like it is now.
So how do you think it shoots compared to the other games that you gravitate towards? What do you think of it as a shooter?
So, I actually really like how it shoots, even though it's a bit funny because the flippers are angled kind of a bit low, but it kind of compensates where the shots are. I think that it's got Houdini style tight shots on that left orbit, but I don't mind it. I find that you can kind of do it.
I love the way of describing machines now. Houdini style tight shots.
You know,
How tight are they? Houdini tights.
On a
Of
scale
course.
of 1 to Houdini, how tight was the shot?
Hey, I mean, I'm just guessing here. But, no, I love how it shoots. I think it's fantastic because it's got this mix of code with good theme integration, even though some people would detest the fact that I'm saying that. I actually love it. I think it shoots fantastically.
Yeah, so I've always thought that it shot really well, but, early days when the code wasn't there, did you find yourself still playing it, or did you not really find it that enjoyable because of the lack of code?
I mean, I totally played it. I thought it was still really cute because I love... This is going to seem real weird because little millennial me being here, but I love the theme. I absolutely love Batman 66, right? So I actually could play through the main modes like Catwoman and Penguin. Not so much Joker and Riddler. I don't like them as much. Just personal opinion. But I played it a lot. Yeah, I liked it. But it's so much better with the TV modes now. Oh, so much fun.
What is your dream theme, Danny? Like, what? If you had one choice that you went bang, and then Stern would make the machine for you, or whoever you want to make the machine, what would it be?
I literally don't have one. They sound so lame,
Okay.
but I just have no idea. Because, I mean, I like... Maybe I'm just a middle-aged man inside my soul, but I actually like the themes they're bringing out now. I mean, and I like all the themes from the past. I just like seeing what's there. And to be honest, little player me likes to just play them and find little things about them. The theme doesn't bother me as much. Like, I can grow to love a theme if the pinball machine is good.
Yeah.
Like even Congo.
Okay.
Oh, I like Congo.
So what I'm hearing is a
Everyone
lot
loves
of words,
Congo.
but really what you're saying is Harry Potter is the theme that you want.
If that's what you want, Marty, if that's what you want.
That's what
Sure.
everyone wants.
Hey, my nephew would love it. My little nephew, he loves Harry Potter, so, I mean, could happen.
Marty, Danny's too old for that shit, okay? for preteens, okay? It's for preteens.
Fair enough.
What do we got next, Marty?
What else have we got? Well,
What's this? I don't know what this is.
so what's really interesting? Okay, so friend of the show, guy called Alex, who runs Oz Retro Gamer, which is a sort of pinball and retro gaming website in Australia. They actually did a poll, and they asked the question, and I think the results are going to be announced soon anyway, but I've got them anyway. They asked the question, what is the best Stern pinball machine since 2000? And I'm going to ask you both for your vote. What is the best Stern pinball machine since 2010 was what the question was.
Oh, okay.
So since
Well, it
2010.
came out in 2010.
And then I'll tell you what one.
AC/DC.
So, yeah.
All right.
Danny, you go first.
This is okay. See, like, I think y'all know from what we discussed earlier in the thing, I really, really like Aerosmith and Batman. And the issue is that I kind of like... Actually, no, because I like Walking Dead too. And I like Iron Man, but Iron Man was a bit early, wasn't it? Oh, I like all of them. Can we just say that? No. I'll tell you one that I don't like. Guardians of the Galaxy. Not my favourite.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Here's the tea. No, it's just not my thing. I'd say Batman.
She's not a Bobbly Bobo fan.
Yeah, I love Bobbly Bobo.
Let me read out the choices you've got, right? There's not that many of them. AC/DC, Aerosmith, Avatar, Batman 66, Big Buck Hunter, Game of Thrones, Ghostbusters, Guardians of the Galaxy, Iron Maiden, Iron Man, Kiss, Metallica, Mustang, Star Trek, Star Wars, Avengers, Rolling Stones, Walking Dead, Transformers, Tron, WrestleMania, X-Men.
Who's going to
that's a
say
lot of
Big Buck
games.
Hunter? Am I right?
I like
No,
Big Buck
I'd
Hunter.
probably say, just based on code, I'd have to say Batman. And because it's really weird, because usually I don't like long playing games. Let me just reason this out. I don't usually like playing long games. And the fact that keeps me coming back to it, even though I can play it for an hour, I love it. It can have my vote, even though I do love Aerosmith wholeheartedly.
Okay. Ryan, what would your vote go to?
Yeah, the top two would be Metallica and Walking Dead. I will go with Walking Dead simply because I'm still kind of discovering how to play the modes to the best of my ability. Because, for how many hundreds of games that I've played in the machine, I kind of get into a mode and I kind of hit the lit shots, but the order of the shots that you select are important, and there's a lot of strategy behind them. And I still kind of dislike the layout of that machine, but the code works with it, so I'll go for Walking Dead.
Okay. Well, mine was an easy one. Mine was Star Trek, because that is just my absolute favourite Stern machine.
Simple rules for a simple man.
Correct. I know what I need to do. But everything at once. It's not massively deep. Well, I mean, obviously, you can go through all the modes, but they're all a bit samey. But I just like the fact that everything is laid out at once. You can choose which way you want to go. But the voting for this actually finishes tonight in Australia. So rest of the world, the voting's probably going to be closed. What do you think was the number one voted game of Stern Pinball since 2010?
Metallica.
Bzz.
Really?
No, it wasn't.
Actually, yeah, no, I do agree with that. Oh, I would have said either AC/DC or Walking Dead.
Well, I can tell you Metallica came fourth.
Oh. Okay. How many people voted in this, Marty? Is it only like 10 people?
It doesn't say. I would say thousands of people, because this is actually Oz Retro Gamer is a very, very popular site, so they would get a lot of votes. Batman 66 was sixth.
Okay.
The number one.
What came in first, Marty?
With 30% of the vote, The Walking Dead.
Yeah. Yeah, no, people love it.
I win.
Yeah. Yes.
And the second, with 13% of the vote, was Star Trek.
Wow.
And third, with 10% of the vote, Metallica is also 10%, but maybe, it's 9.9%. But third was Tron.
Wow. Okay, can I just point something out there that really intrigues me?
Yep. Yeah.
I just noticed that these, people are like, we want so many toys, but those ones don't necessarily have a lot of toys in them. Especially with
just like
Star
Iron
Trek.
Maiden. Iron Maiden has almost nothing special about it except for the presentation and the code, and people are excited by that.
Yeah.
That's why I think, the whole spinning disc thing with Jersey Jack, would the game be better without any spinning disc? It might shoot 10 times better that way. It just needs to be fun, I think, rules-wise and sound-wise, and interesting stuff, Marty.
Very interesting. I find that fascinating. It was not what I was expecting. I also thought Metallica would be up there. I've always said that I believe Metallica is Stern's best machine they've ever made. It's not my favourite, but I can appreciate that it has just got everything that you need in a pinball machine. So I was surprised that came fourth.
Pincade. Your dad, Rotor Dave Peck, runs Pincade, and you didn't do everything this year, right? You just were only in the competitions that were at your house?
Yeah, at the apartment in Pukekohe, yes.
And how did you go in those tournaments?
So on the one on the Friday night, which is at the apartment, that was on the Spooky Games. That was on America's Most Haunted of Rob Zombie. I think I was third top qualifier. So I think something like that. I was top qualifier for a good portion of the night, by the way. Just going to say that. I got jealous when they knocked me down. Then I got out first round, even though I got buys. So I don't know how I did in that. I think I might have come.
Okay.
Something. But on the Sunday, which is the System 11 World Champs, everyone should come along to that. It's a great tournament. Totally recommend. In the main event, I was top qualifier. Then I got knocked out straight away, of course. The curse of the top qualifier. But I actually qualified first in the women's division and managed to win that, which is quite nice. So I bought myself back.
Cool.
Then in the classics, I was second qualifier to my father, who was first qualifier, and I managed to win that, which is very exciting for me.
Nice. Congratulations. Yeah. And you got to play, I believe, a special machine from China was there as well. Thunderbirds made an appearance there.
Yes, it did. It's it was getting a lot of play over the day. It was garnering a lot of attention.
Did you have a go yourself?
Yeah, we had a couple of games. I had a couple of games both on the day and with Dad afterwards. And I mean, it's alright, isn't it? It actually is like one of the best. It's actually like one of the best looking machines ever. Like the cabinet lights up, and that's really cool. I think that the coding, the software in it could use a little bit of polish. But I mean, if you want a simple game, like a beginner game for like, was it $5,000 or something? I mean, I wouldn't be angry at it. It looks cute. It's actually like a cute game.
It's cute.
Okay, it's cute. So I think when he was bringing it out, he was kind of comparing it to it. He wanted to emulate the DMD era, and with 120 something machines at your place, you've got all the eras there. You've got EMs, you've got the solid states, you've got the DMDs. Would you? Because the way people have been talking about it, it's more kind of like a solid state. Like it's got a DMD, but it's more like solid state kind of rules. Would you say that, or would you say it's emulating DMD rules?
Good question. No, I'd agree with those people. I think that it's very much solid state kind of rules. But I think that it could be developed beyond that. I think it's just like a bit of time that needs to be taken with that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Me and you, Martin, went to kind of play it when it was getting launched in Melbourne, and then the launch kind of didn't happen for some reason. But I think you're the first person that's come on the show that's played the game, so we had to ask. You guys should totally pop over. It's still in our house, and I mean, if anyone wants to buy it, make my dad an offer, or make the guys, just make an offer. I'm sure that we'll be able to sell it to you. It's looking good,
Awesome. Awesome. She's gonna go, but yeah, forget the degree. Just get into the family business. Well done.
Yes. Hey, and did I mention if you want to buy a spooky game, hey, you can contact Rhoda Dave. I'm sure he'd love to sell you one,
Yeah.
It's all good.
How do people contact Rhoda Dave? What's his email address?
It's an email address. Don't know if I can share. Just DM him on Pinside Rhoda Dave. Just send him a nice thing.
So
Are we done with the news, Marty?
We are done with the news.
Is this where we say goodbye to Danny?
It is indeed. What else would you like to tell us, Danny, about yourself before you go?
I didn't come to play. I came to slay.
Well, you did indeed. You better work.
How can you not have that on a T-shirt already?
I was literally just going to say, Ryan, you should make a T-shirt with it on because you love it.
Yeah. I just thought it was the most hilarious thing because, like, you just, I know you're modest and everything, but you kind of destroyed everyone in that competition on Taxi and Junkyard. Like your score on Junkyard was so much higher than everyone else. And then Jeff Tellers goes to interview and everyone's like, I know you're kind of modest, but you just wanted to kind of say something funny. And he just opened with that. I didn't play, I came to slay. And I just burst out laughing. And,
yes, I'm a joker. Yeah. It's all good.
Someone's got to... And you're a Road King as well. Someone's got to print that on a T-shirt. Make it happen. All
yes. Right. Cool. Thank you, guys.
Would you like to say something to your dad? Something funny to make him laugh?
Not funny. I'm just going to be all humble and say thank you for buying all the machines, Dad, and raising me to be a good child. I'm very proud to be your child and to have driven in the hearse. Thank you for the good life experience. Lots of love.
Oh, there you go. That new Iron Maiden is in the bag.
Oh wait, one more thing to Dad. Sorry for embarrassing you by being on the podcast. Hope you enjoyed.
All right, Danny, thanks for coming on the show. We will
thank
talk
you
to you
very
soon.
much, guys. Yes.
Awesome. Thanks, Danny.
Bye.
Are we ready to do Slam the Top 100?
Do it.
So let's if we can do a bit of a recap on what happened last week. So first of all, we had a bit of a debate on whether we were going to change the rules of Slam 100, and we kind of left them at is, hoping that we might have, some shits and giggles with some of the results. And so last week, you managed to get the number one ranked machine on Pinside being Medieval Madness, and I didn't.
You got Rob Zombie.
I got the number 93 ranked machine being Rob Zombie. So, given that they are so far apart, I'm pretty sure you said that if I got 10%, maybe even 20% of the votes, that would be a win. But you then did quickly retract that.
Yes, because I knew what was going to happen. People were going to be like, "Yeah, fuck Native Americans. It's number one. I don't think it's number one. Let's be stupid and do the whole internet meme thing. We're like, hey, we're going to name a boat. What should we call it? Boaty McBoatface. Ha, hilarious, right? So people did that for you. They're like, yeah, that's what this is. People are like, let's be really funny and make Rob Zombie win because that's fucking hilarious. So all these dickheads that voted for it, Jesus.
Well,
no, I can't call people that. What the hell?
So it was record.
So all these
record votes again.
How many did we get?
We got 81 votes.
81.
Right.
Okay.
So.
And I'm looking at these people here. Okay. I'm looking at these people.
Don't look at them. They are all awesome people. It didn't matter which way you voted. Thank you very much for your vote. Voting counts. But in this instance... Fiona Luth. Yeah, that's Lex's wife. Come on. So,
yeah, exactly. She doesn't give a shit about this stuff.
She does. Absolutely. Anyway.
Jackie Moore. Her first vote ever. Jackie Moore.
Yep. We love you, Jackie.
You couldn't pull off the call center thing, but you've contacted some people to warp the votes. You didn't win, but you've done well.
I can tell you now.
I'll count it as a win.
I can tell you now, I did not contact anybody. But the final results were 57% of people voted for Medieval Madness. 43% voted for Rob Zombie. So I reckon that's a pretty even split of people, really.
You even got the famous Richard Gere to vote for you.
Yeah, so thank you, Richard. Appreciate your vote. So that was fun. It was just the funniest Slam the Top 100 so far. So let's do it again. We cannot guarantee it's going to be funny. We may even have a serious competition. Who knows? But that was a lot of fun anyway. Shall we go?
Please generate a number from 0 to 100.
All right.
This is mine.
81.
81 is The Who's Tommy. Data East 1994. One of your favourite machines.
I love that game. I do. I love all the games that I get, okay? For 1 week, I love all those games.
Awesome. Now, what's my number?
Please generate a number from 0 to 100.
Okay. 78.
Oh,
super close.
78 is Stargate. It's a great game.
It's a Gottlieb.
It's a great game.
Okay.
Whew.
All right.
You ready? You've got... Oh, no. Is it me that goes first because mine's higher?
Ah, yes. You do have to go first. Sorry, I forgot our own rules.
Fair enough.
Okay. Marty, I'm getting the clock out. You have 30 seconds to talk about why Stargate is an awesome machine. Ready, set, go.
So, this is... You know, it is a Gottlieb of the era, a System 3 from Premier. And you know what? A lot of the Gottlieb machines of this era get a bad rap. But this was the best of that era. The actual playfield is jam-packed with ramps and toys. It's got the pyramid. Now, I know everyone keeps saying about just shoot the pyramid, and it's one of those games where, well, if you're going to do that over and over, you're sort of going to lose the point of the game. It's actually got
Time's
great
up.
art.
Time's up. Time's up.
Oh,
Time's up.
There you go.
Ready to
All
count me
right.
down?
I'm prepared to go. You ready? Go.
This machine is the greatest Data East pinball machine that has ever come out. And I know that's it's still sitting at number 80-something, but it has an amazing shot layout. The rules are cool. It has that fan that blocks the flippers, which I don't believe has ever been done before on a pinball machine. Noobs love it, okay? Beautiful yellow cabinet. If you love the yellow, this pinball machine would give you a massive boner. The UK flag,
Stop.
Everyone likes to see the UK flag.
We've got nothing.
This is so shit. I actually do like Tommy. Anyway, your other 30 seconds starts now.
So, look, I'm just going to talk again about Stargate. The original and best Egyptian theme. Again, it's just got great art. The back box art on this is fantastic with that 3D effect and infinity lights. It is a great game, and it is one of the games from Gottlieb of this era that holds its value. So get this. And Lucas, you better vote for me because you've got this.
Is that it? You got 10 more seconds?
No, that's it. Also, Tommy is really dull.
Okay. Is it?
Yeah, okay. It's not great. It's clunky. It's one of the clunky data easts.
Every single data east is clunky, okay? And every single Gottlieb from that era is even clunkier.
I know.
With shit rules. Plus shit rules.
All right.
My 30 seconds hasn't even started.
Ready?
Getting some jabs in.
Ready, go.
I believe this is our first data east versus Gottlieb. Guys, we're all pinball elitists here. If you're listening to a podcast, you're an elitist. You cannot let a Gottlieb win. The cool thing about Tommy is they're the guys who sing the Pinball Wizard song, right? So every time you hear a news piece on pinball, okay, guaranteed 99% of the time you're going to hear the Tommy's Pinball Wizards, and you might think it's lame, but that's what people associate with pinball, and it inspired this pinball machine.
Yeah. Okay. You're going the nostalgia vote. Well done. Okay. It's
people like this pinball machine, mate. I'm 95% sure I'm going to win. 95.
Yeah, you're probably right, but it's one of those things where Stargate you just really don't see around. I just don't even know whether that was many of them made. Well, 3,600 units. So that's not really a lot. So I don't think many people have really been able to see Stargate to know that it is the better game. You should have used one
of those mind tricks. That trick that you pulled where, like, you know, Britney Spears is popular. Everyone was like, "Holy shit, she is popular! What the hell?" That was some political bullshit, mate. You should have pulled the same thing this time. But yeah,
well,
I think I got you covered.
Fuck off. There you go. I get Jeff Teolis' vote. So
Jeff Teolis' vote.
There you go.
Okay. What did you get up to this week in... should we do a competition?
Do we need to announce who won last week's competition?
Yes, we do.
So, bottom line is, we put it up on Facebook for people to vote, and I'm not going to say that your instructions were really hard to understand, but it would be easier to work out the rules on Wizard of Oz.
I won twice this week, mate. I won Slam the Top 100, and I picked two winners because my two choices demolished your choice of Limp Bizkit. Sorry to the person that wrote that email, and you still came third. But
it wasn't us. We weren't competing.
Yeah, well, I
you are really competitive.
Every win that I can get, okay?
Wow. We haven't even gotten to your bloody tournament.
Yeah. Michael from Werribee, he's only around the corner. He lives in Melbourne, which is good. Won the Alien artwork, and it definitely wasn't rigged because you guys have voted for it, and it was good. I enjoyed the fact that we don't need to post that to the US. So we do have some other stuff to give away, which will be coming in the coming weeks. So look out for that. I think it's time for This Week in Pinball.
Yes, it is. And so we did something together again this weekend. What did we do, Ryan?
We played in a tournament together. A great tournament. Fabulous. The tournament director was a hot guy.
Oh, what a dish. It was actually a great tournament. So this was Rage Tilt at Riser. So this was a comp that you put on at your house. What was the format for this?
It was match play, so 4-player games, 6 rounds, and in each round there's 2. I'm using the wrong word. Is it 6 times 2? How do you say 6 rounds, but in each round there's 2?
There was 2 games. 2 games each round, and so effectively what you'd done is you'd put 2 machines into a bank. Effectively, so each round you would play these 2 machines, and it was 4-player match play, and I think the points were like 7-4. 2-0 or something like that. I can't remember what the points were.
Yeah, so there's a point bonus for coming first. So if you pull off a first, it really propels you up the rankings. I did Swiss pairings, which basically means if you're coming last, the last 4 players that were having a bad day play each other. The best 4 players play each other, and then every round the rankings move. And the reason for that is the whole thing that Bo and Kieran said with Pinburg is you play with people that are in the same kind of boat as you, and the person who comes first has as much fun as the person that comes last. And sorry, it's the other way around. So obviously with 20 people, there isn't 840 people to deal with. But I think that worked well. I got some good feedback on that. There's always, if you come last, some people, didn't enjoy it as much, but overall the feedback was good. I spent a lot of time kind of getting the machines to play
really
super
tough,
duper fast.
Yep.
Yeah, really tough. And it's because of like Richard Rhodes, and if Jordan Treadaway was going to come, he didn't come because it was his birthday on the weekend. Happy birthday to Jordan Treadaway. He's now 18. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, if everyone was a really average player, then sure, I would leave the machines as normal and the machine wouldn't run over time. But you've seen Richard Rhodes blow up a machine. I've seen him blow up a machine. No one wants to wait 45 minutes while he gets a billion on AC/DC or something. It's not fun for anyone except him. So I had to make the machines as hard as I can for the best player. And, I kind of tried to explain to everyone before the tournament started that, don't take that to heart. You're just trying to beat the people that you're playing with, not beat the machine and get into a wizard mode. And I think people were appreciative of that because 4-player games can kind of drag on. I'm sure, Marty, you've been to some tournaments that, lasted a long time doing a kind of a 12-round match play. Yeah,
absolutely. And I guess, the good thing about this is at a minimum, every player gets to play 12 games. So that's fine. And also to note, so this was match play, but you didn't have finals at the end. You just decided that whatever was the points at the end of the 6 rounds, that was it.
Yep, because people are getting paired up doing the Swiss pairings things, the in the top 4 in the last round should be the best players of the day. So that basically
becomes a final.
Becomes a final, and I guess there can technically be a situation where someone outside of the top 4 can ace those last 2 games and sneak ahead. But pretty much the top 4 finish in the top 4 anyway. So, how did you go, Marty?
Yeah, it's funny you should ask me that question. How did I go? Because I had some good rounds and some bad rounds, but I did end up in the top 4 as you did. And something really interesting happened in that last round, Ryan. I'm not sure if you remember what I'm going to be talking about. Let's talk about Metallica, shall we?
Yes.
So,
great game.
It is a great game. Stern's best. So what you had done, you'd set this up like they do in a lot of comps where, all the multi-balls are really hard to get, but Crank It Up is really easy to get. So I was... on this particular game, I think I might have been the second or third player, and nobody had gotten into Crank It Up, and I literally had one shot to light Crank It Up, and that was into the snake, and it's exactly what I did. I put the ball into the snake's mouth, lit Crank It Up, and then what happened, Ryan?
You can tell me what happened, Marty.
Well, the freaking snake spat the ball right down the middle. Right down the middle, so fast, I couldn't even react, it was gone.
Yeah.
And how did I reacted pretty calmly, didn't I, Ryan?
No, you were like a baby, basically. You were like a baby that had an ice cream and some guy just took the ice cream off the baby because you were getting ready, and I knew you went into that instant info like 5 times. You're like, how many more shots? 1 more shot. How many more shots? 1 more shot. And I understand, and this is the fucked up thing. I felt really bad because that snake, for some reason, when I got the machine, I got it secondhand. I didn't buy it new. It used to spit the ball out onto the right sling, and then sometimes the right sling would chuck it straight down the out lane. So I asked on I think it was Aussie Arcade, and people were like, oh, you put padding here and you put padding there. And I did that, and it took me about 3 hours to do it because it was just doing weird stuff, and I finally got it perfect. And I would have tested it in test mode like maybe 200 times when I set it up, and that ball has never ever spat that snake has never spat the ball down the middle. And then when it happened to you, Stacey's like, "Oh yeah, that happened to me before in qualifying." I'm like, "What?" It's the nature of pinball, and I felt really bad for you, But then after your kind of reaction and what happened on Tron afterwards, I know pains me to say this. I'm sorry, Marty, but I'm glad it happened to you because. Well, you tell people what happened on Tron.
Well,
So that was the first game.
Well, I was, but also just to let you know, I missed out on coming first on Metallica by about 200,000 points. Was the downside of that middle drain. So what happened when we got to Tron was I was shitty. Was the problem really? I was in such a foul mood after that had happened. It was just this incredulous moment. So, but it really came down to the last game. All four of us, pretty much, if we'd won the game, would have won the tournament. I mean, it also did rely on some people coming second
I had to
and
come
last.
first, and you had to come second. Yeah. It was possible for all of us.
It was possible for all of us to win, and I was shitty, so I had a shit game.
Yeah, I managed to have my one. I mean, no one. I didn't see. I'm not sure in your groups, Marty, because we were only in each other's groups maybe twice out of the 6 rounds. No one really blew up a game. People had good games, good solid games, but because the machines were set up so hard, like a 60 million on Walking Dead was like an amazing game, like a 3 billion on Attack from Mars. I got into Sea of Simulation with double scoring on Tron. I got all 3 multiples obviously to get into there, and I had one really good ball, and that led me to about 53 million or something. Richard Rhodes got 30. And you and Marcus got, somewhere under 10 million. And so the reason why I'm glad it happened to you is because it's almost training for like
Pinburg.
It's like
That's exactly what you said.
On Pinburg.
Yep.
I'm glad it happened to you because like if that happens to you at Pinburg on day one, and people talk about it all the time, and people talk about that Pinburg experience, they're like, I kind of got sidetracked and something happened and I got 1-0 and then, and then I got like 5 zeros, and then that was it. And then I'm in like Division D or some shit like that. I think, for a tournament that goes that length, and this is a short tournament, this ran for about 4.5 hours with like a half an hour break when Seawitch died, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, if you can't keep your concentration for 4 hours, then you're fucked at Pinburg. So.
No, look, it was more than that. It was, there was other games that I'd played previously that obviously I just should have done better. There was a round where I came last and third, or another one where I came third and third. So, there was plenty of other times throughout the day where I should have played better and not been in that situation where one game actually matters. I was more pissed off that it was your machine. If it had been Pinburg, it's like, oh, well, there's 500 machines here. It doesn't matter. I don't know who owns this machine. It was your machine. You had that smug look on your face. I was like, oh.
No, I didn't.
But
look at my face is like, well, I scored last on that Metallica, okay? And because I scored last on Metallica, I missed out on coming first by 1 point. So you came fourth, Marty. I came third. And Marcus and Richard tied for first. They had a playoff on Attack from Mars. And Marcus, I had a look at his IFDA profile. He's played 118 games, tournaments. That was his chance to come first. Unfortunately, he couldn't pull it off. So he came second, and Richard pulled up the first. It was a good day.
It was a great day. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah. You know how pick I am with certain things, and like Argonauts was my favorite tournament, but I would still like, I wish the machine like played less floaty and this and that. There was no excuses for me with this one because they're my machines, they're the games that I like. I can set them up as fast and brutal as I can, and there's no excuses for me not to have fun. I did find it hard being a player, a tournament director, and a host. That's quite hard. I mean, you talked about how you copped a bad round. I mean, my worst round was when Seawitch went down, and it was during our little break. And the funny thing was, it just stopped working, kind of like in between games. And someone said, "Hey, Seawitch isn't kind of like powering up." Switched it on, switched it off, didn't work. Reseated all the connectors. I started to stress out. I'm like, I haven't prepared another game. I had other games there, but I didn't prepare another game to be as brutal as all the other games. So I thought, am I going to sit there and set up Wizard of Oz to be like absolutely brutal, or am I going to ring Bruce Nightingale from the Sunset podcast? So I jumped outside and I rang Bruce, and I could tell that he was at his bar and he was quite busy. And I'm like, Bruce, my Seawitch isn't powering up properly. What should I do? And like within 10 seconds, he was like, okay, how many dings is it doing? Is it doing 6 dings? I'm like, I can't hear it. Like maybe. If it's doing 6 dings, it's the fuse F6 is blown. or F4 or something like that.
How
I'm
does
like,
he know this stuff?
I know, and I'm like, what the shit? And I'm like, what? If it is that, what's the fuse value? And he's like, you're pushing your luck. And I'm like, well, if like he was like, how the fuck am I meant to know that? And I'm like, well, how do you know this to begin with?
Yeah.
So I, sure enough, went into the machine and I checked that fuse. Sorry, first I listened to the dings. It was 6 dings, and then I checked the fuse, and sure enough, it was blown. So I asked you, because you were trying to set up a stream. I said, how much longer do you need? I drove down to JCar, which is an electronics store, which it's a godsend that this thing is like 8 minutes from my house. It has every single like little electronic part that I could possibly need. I bought a bunch of fuses, brought it back, stuck it in, and it powered up. The fuse did blow. I didn't know if it was a quick blow or a slow blow, so I used a quick. And it did literally, it blew again right at the end of the tournament, like after the games were finished. So it lasted the tournament. Most people love that game when they won. When they didn't win, they're like, "Oh, why do you have this machine there? Like old machines suck." But yeah, people. That was the only bank that I didn't get to play myself.
It played really well. I got to play that twice, I think, and really enjoyed it.
Yeah. The longest playing game was Walking Dead, believe it or not. That's how brutal my games were. Walking Dead at 7-degree angle was the easiest machine. Yeah, that's about it. I hope to have it again. The next one is already in the IFPA calendar, but I'm trying to figure out if I keep it at 20. What did you think, Barney, about the crowded nature of the room? Because we did push machines into another room so that everyone was inside, not outside.
Look,
do you think that
if you don't mind me giving you just some healthy criticism,
yeah,
it was pretty tight. Is the only thing I'll say is that for 20 people, many times people bumped into me as I was playing, as they were walking to the toilet. Many people, as you know, my pet hate, were having a conversation right in my ear as I was playing.
You can't stop that. You can't stop that.
No, you can't stop that. I was kicking myself. I should have had my headphones. That's my own fault. But
the peripheral vision stuff as well. I realized when I was playing Attack from Mars and people walking in and out of that toilet, I was just like, yeah, that was a bad position for a pinball machine. But I wasn't playing to configure the room like that. But the night before, I looked at the weather report and it was raining. It was like an absolutely miserable day in Melbourne. So people couldn't kind of hang out outside. If I did it again, if I don't cancel the one that's up next month, I would like to expand it a little bit because I think it's more fun the more people you have.
Yeah.
But I guess I would have to chuck maybe 5 or 6 pins in the garage. And
yep.
Yeah,
that would work well.
So hopefully people don't trek mud in and out, but
yep,
it was fun.
Yeah, it was good fun. It was great comp. Well done.
Okay, I have quick things to say. I got a pinball related injury, and it just kind of healed in time, so you didn't see it. But I was moving stuff around a couple of days before, and accidentally moved a chair behind Demo Man, and I'm doing this thing now. My pinball nuance, like weird stuff that I do when I'm playing pinball, changes all the time. Now I kick my leg up. Right, like when a girl in a movie's being kissed and they lift their leg up.
Yes,
it's like really fast. That's my best way of describing it. I was playing Demo Man. I went to save the ball. I kicked my leg up, and there was a chair right behind me. I kicked this chair so freaking hard that right on my Achilles heel, and I couldn't walk properly for 3 days. I was like limping around for 3 days. That's how hard I kicked it. I've got pictures of my bruise and everything. I'll show it to you later. What else did I got tickets to go see the Iron Maidens.
What is the Iron Maidens? Who is this you talk about?
It's the female version of the Iron Maidens. It's like a female cover band of the Iron Maidens. And that's in a couple of months. I thought there's no way I'm gonna the Iron Maidens. They'll come here in like 5 years. I won't care by now. But this was that instant. People heard the podcast in Australia and thought it'd be funny. So I'm going down there with a couple of pinball guys. It's literally like 500 meters from your house.
Oh, it's a 3-minute walk. I should go.
Yeah, you should go, but you're not, are you?
I might do.
Okay, if it's yeah, come down. It'll be fun.
I reckon it'll be fun.
Just as a gag, as a laugh.
No, I reckon they'll be good. If they're going to tour the world, or I don't know if they're Australian, as the Iron Maidens, they're going to want to be able to play those instruments really well.
Yeah.
If they don't, well then it will be for shits and giggles.
And the last thing was I headed down with Jared Mendoza of Facebook fame and Nimmer to Pinball Paradise during the week, and we played Cards Against Humanity, which was absolutely hilarious, and then played some pinball for 3 hours, and I got my ass kicked. Those two guys are the experts of trash talking, and trash talking actually affects me, and I'm glad that it's kind of like not allowed in like official IPA kind of stuff, because they got so cocky, like, you're going down on Sunday, and they were both there, and they all came in the bottom half. So that's my that's my trash talk back to them. I came third, and you guys came last. So take that. All right.
Awesome. So shall we go to the mailbag?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, we've got one email and another message. Let's talk about the email first. So this is from Greg G. Hello, Greg. He said, been listening to you since started. However, like everything in my life, way behind the times. So far, only listened up to your December broadcasts. Jeez, up till December.
He's gonna get to your drunk podcast.
Oh, he hasn't even got to the drunk podcast yet. So yeah, it's all pretty downhill from there. Enjoyed very much the 2 episodes where you introduced some Americans to Aussie slang. Appreciate that. He said it reminded me of one of your early shows when the discussion wove into what would make a good Australian themed pin, and Martin's suggestion of bogan. Did I? I don't remember that.
I don't remember it either.
He said, I've long thought an Aussie themed pin of us taking the piss out of each other and every other culture at the same time would be a ripper in the overseas market. The world at large needs to be educated on the symbiotic nature of drop bears, bogans, and blue-assed flies.
What is a blue-assed fly? I have no idea what that is.
I can't remember what that is. My only other suggestion is that any Aussie-themed pin worth of salt would have to have the chorus of the Cosmic Psychos, Come On, played at 11 as the attract mode call-out. I don't know what that is, but I will have to Google Cosmic Psycho, Come On.
We also got an email from Robert Byers, who last week, who's still making his way through, and he kind of commented on the Aussie-themed pinball machines as well. I'm not sure if you saw that message on Facebook, where he said he was up to the episode where we talked about what's that guy's name again? What's a man? I can't remember the name of that song.
Yes. I can't remember what it is, yes.
Or is it Big Titties? Whatever that song was. Anyway, he's still way behind, so he'll catch up one day too.
He will catch up. And we also got a really exciting message from our Facebook page. Can you read that? No, from our website. Can you read that one out, Ryan?
Why are we reading this out? Don't validate this guy. Okay, if you want to do it, I'll do it. I didn't think you were going to include it.
Because we got our first hate mail.
Is this our first hate mail?
I think it is.
Okay.
I think it is.
This is exciting.
It really is exciting. And I'll tell you why it's exciting is because
it's directed to you, motherfucker.
It's directed to me. And what I said to Ryan, it was really funny. What I said to Ryan was, I said, you know what? I used to remember hearing Nate Shivers talk about the fact that he used to get these anonymous hate messages all the time. And I went, fuck it. We've hit the big time, bitches. We are now getting our first bit of hate mail. And then Ryan said to me, oh, I want one too.
I don't think I'm a very likable guy, but this is. Let me read it out. Let me read it out.
Okay.
I want to read it out in an asshole's voice, right?
Okay, go on, do it.
This is from Farty Marty. Hey, how much did Pompous Marty? That's your new nickname, by the way. Pompous Marty.
I'm pompous, apparently. Yep.
Have to pay to jump the queue on his alley. Which is what he's trying to say is that why was Martin so stressed out for 2 weeks and then magically got his alley because obviously you paid for it. Oh my god, you sir, you farty party. I thought it was farty party.
Yeah.
Okay, you works. Farty party. You win the Dickhead of the Week. It's our new segment, Dickhead of the Week. Send all your hate mail in. We love it. We thrive off it.
I honestly, it was a badge of honor. You were like, oh, did you read it? I'm like, yeah, this is freaking awesome. Well done. Thank you, Farty Party. You made my day. So
I don't know, but okay. Maybe it's like funny because like it doesn't make any sense at all because I know how stressed out you were about not getting the machine and everything. But what if it's like real hate? What if it's like, Ryan, you stuttering? Okay, wait. I did the whole Jeff Teolis episode. I can survive it.
Yeah.
Send it down.
Yeah, but anyway, the point is that the people that were in the queue after me have also received their LE, so I didn't have to pay for anything except full price. Completely full price. This street price that the US have is just crazy. I paid full price and shipping on top of that. So there you go. That's just what we paid. We don't have competition here, so that's what we have to do. Anyway,
how can
hilarious.
People find us, Marty?
Well,
they can head. Well, okay. Slam Tilt just said just head to our new website. So can we do the same thing? Or I can record something really cool and I can put it in my new soundboard. You
can do that, because also I had a bit of feedback as well this week from friend of the show. Hi, Paul. Said, you know what? Sometimes the podcast just ends all of a sudden, and he's like, "Oh, what happened?" So we need to give like a 60-second warning. Okay, in 60 seconds, the podcast is going to end.
All right, Marty. Before we get to that,
yes.
This is the devil telling you where to shoot.
To your right.
And this is what he says when you try to hit that shot.
No, your other right.
Ah, devil, you're so funny.
You're hilarious.
You're hilarious.
So go to Facebook, Head2Head Pinball. Go to Twitter, H2H Pinball. Email us head2headpinball@gmail.com, or Instagram is Head2Head Pinball, or go to our website head2headpinball.com and send us anonymous hate messages. We love it.
Send me some sound bites. I want to become like American radio, where they just play like really annoying sound clips all the time. I've got the soundboard now. I figured it out. It took me ages. I figured it out.
Yeah.
Send me all your funny gags, and I'll just when Marty does something, just when you swear.
Yeah.
What's your profanity?
We can have our own laugh track.
Oh shit! I just did it. Okay, that's my laugh. Now you do your laugh, Marty. No,
I've been doing it all episode. Anyway, thanks everybody. Thanks, Paul RJ. We'll speak to you all next week.
I really want to sing "Wasted Years." I gotta just for Lucas.
Go on, sing it.
I don't know the lyrics. I know it's like the.
That's the problem.
I gotta learn them.
There's a problem. No one does. All right. See you, everyone.
See ya.